It's hard to be what you can't see. So everything we do is about putting a spotlight on Black excellence so that young Indigenous kids can see it to be it.
The white cockatoo flew through fire. Inside that fire, he's getting burnt, he's getting tormented, dealing with pain. But he didn't give up. He kept flying, and he made it out of the other side.
My name is Ben Miles. I'm the VP Executive Creative Director of Brand Design and Consulting at RGA.
My name's Nooky. I'm a rapper and founder of We Are Warriors here with Benny and the rest of the crew.
We Are Warriors is a platform to celebrate Indigenous greatness.
It's what was missing from my country. It's what was needed in my country.
It's hard to be what you can't see. So everything we do is about putting a spotlight on Black excellence so that young Indigenous kids can see it to be it. They can see people that look like them succeeding against all odds, and that they have reached their greatness, like Nooky, who has been through a lot of things, but has achieved greatness.
Going to school for me, I was always told, I'm going to jail, I'm a waste of time. So for us doing these workshops, we want to get into these schools where the kids might be facing the same stuff, and we want to give them the tools to get through that.
In March 2020, when I think the whole world was looking at their biases and looking at what happened with George Floyd, I reached out to Nooky and I asked if there was a possibility that we could catch up and I could chat to him and better understand his mission and where he was trying to go.
And I told him this one story about school. This was like the day I found out the difference between black fellas and white fellas. Teacher starts putting projections on the screen there about Aboriginal people, saying this Aboriginal people, they were dirty people, they were a bunch of savages, no point to life. And as I'm looking at the pictures, that's when I realized that looks like my family. And it hurt, because I'm looking at my family, the people who care for me, look after me, and they're being called dirty. I felt ashamed of myself and who I was. I asked my mum, I said, hey, mum, we're Aboriginal, aren't we? And she goes, yeah, son, we are. Why? And I said, I don't want to be Aboriginal, mum. I don't want to be dirty. And then she said, we weren't dirty people. We were warriors.
I turned around to Nooky and I said, not every young Indigenous kid has a mum like you that is instilling that confidence, that warrior spirit. We need to create a platform that can tell all young Indigenous kids across Australia that they are warriors too. And we need to tell your story. And I think the momentum, the energy that has come out of this is because people can feel it. There's an authenticity, there's a fire that's behind it, and that fire is Nooky's. And people are seeing it and they're feeling it and it's moving it forward. The brand that we created with We Are Warriors is fierce, unapologetic, bold. We have the spotlight from the Indigenous flag that sits at the heart of it, that pulls itself out to put a spotlight on Black excellence, and then reduces down to the acronym of We Are Warriors, which is Join the War. So you have kids leaning in because of the warriors that are present, because of a brand that's speaking to them. It is the voice of Nooky, and it is the personification of the boldness and energy and warrior spirit of Nooky come to life for a brand. It speaks to people across all backgrounds. And that's, I think, where we think something really, really unique has happened, is it brings everybody to the table to be part of the change.
January 26th is like the day Australia was colonized. It was like the beginning of a war for us. It's the day we launched We Are Warriors. And on our first birthday, we wanted to do something big. We just secured a We Are Warriors dedicated space just down the road from our spot. Is a massive institution back home. It's called the Powerhouse Museum.
The Powerhouse Museum is the largest museum network in Australia, one of the oldest, and a building that would never have imagined being taken over by Indigenous greatness on Jan 26.
Yeah. We kind of done a full venue takeover. We had our content screened up onto the walls. We had our posters everywhere. Like, we took a white building and made it black, called it the Black Powerhouse. So for us to do the Black Powerhouse on that day, it was staunch and it was fierce, but it was also very warm and welcoming, and it changed the day forever for me. From one of the most dreadful days for me, now it's one of the best.
When we talk about the impact of that day, we took over every single part of that museum. We put on different events. We had people standing up, talking. We had music, and it felt like a celebration. And what's really powerful is Lisa Havilah, who's the CEO of Powerhouse Museum, has now said that she will run on Jan 26, the most polarizing day in Australia, will run Black powerhouse for Black generations to come. And that's the advocates, the allyship that we're looking for. The impact was that feeling of pride in that room. You only had to look at Instagram, social media channels afterwards, 6,000 people saying they've never felt a feeling like that in a day of celebration and pride. So it's a brand that inspires people, that encourages people to take control of the narrative and push things forward.